Hey, G.
Hey.
What are you doing?
Have you ever heard of Dolores Huerta?
Nope.
Yeah, so, like, all these people are talking about this woman, Dolores Huerta, right? So I'm like, what is the big deal? Like, what's so amazing about Dolores Huerta? So I'm looking up and I'm trying to figure it out. So she's born in 1930, right? So I look between 1930 and 1940. Nothing.
She was 10.
Exactly. She was 10. I mean, look at this girl who's in Sweden who's doing all this climate justice stuff. She's like 10, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't see what's so impressive. And then 1940 to 1950, still, like, not much. I mean, I'll give her this. It says she graduated from high school. Oh, amazing. Well, I mean, I guess it is kind of amazing for some people. Anyway, so I'm just trying to figure out, like, why is everyone so, ooh, she's so amazing, So I'm still looking. I see here that, I guess around in 1955, that would make her, I don't know, 25, right? It says that she creates something called the CSO. Ever heard of it?
Nope.
Exactly. CSO, what is that? So as I'm reading, it says it's a community service organization. Community service organization? Really? Whatever. Okay, she wanted to fight for economic improvements for Hispanics. Great, big deal. I'm still not quite getting why everybody is so, like, all the rage. Oh, anyway, and then here it says in 1960, she created the AWA. Ever heard of it?
Nope.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's the Agricultural Workers Association to help further her cause of gaining rights for farm workers, which included allowing migrant workers without U.S. citizenship to receive public assistance and pensions and creating Spanish language voting ballots and driver's tests. It's a little something. But whatever, like, oh, okay, amazing. She starts the AWA. I mean, also a lot of the things here that she seems to be involved in, they all have, like, letters. Okay, so then, like, in 1962, which makes her obviously older than she was before, it says that she and this other guy, Cesar Chavez, founded the NFWA. Ever heard of it?
Nope.
Exactly. The National Farm Workers Association, which was the predecessor to the UFW. Ever heard of that?
Nope.
Exactly. United Farm Workers. Ugh. Anyway, the two of them, this Chavez and Huerta, the two of them worked together as a team. And I mean, they said Huerta was really the negotiator of it, and she was really more behind the scenes, and Chavez was more of the face of it all, but you know how those days, no women really could step up and be forward. Oh yeah, right, 1965, that's when that UFW, I'm so confused with all the letters, that's the United Farm Workers thing, took off. Oh, it gets more and more confusing. And then in the 70s, it says that she organized a boycott for two of my favorite foods. This is heartbreaking. She boycotts grapes. Can you believe it?
Nope.
And lettuce. Right? I mean, why would you do that? Oh my God, I don't know. It says here that she boycotts because it's a protest of the unfair treatment of agricultural workers on grape farms in California, especially their inability to choose their own union. We live in America. Come on, like, why can't you just choose your own union, right? Anyway, it says here that, like, in the 80s, she becomes like the president of the UFW. Again, United Farm Workers, all that. And then it just goes on and on just to talk about things. But I don't know, I'm not really seeing very much happening, you know, through the 80s. I mean, except for the fact, oh, here it says that she was almost beaten to death by police because she was protesting the policies of George H.W. Bush. I mean, I'll give her a nod for that, right? I mean, she had 6 broken ribs and a ruptured spleen. So, you know, you got to give her some credit for that. Oh, dear. And then... in the 90s, she was like inducted to the National Women's Hall of Fame. And then in the later 90s, she resigns. At this time, she's vice president of the UWA, that's United Farm Workers, the UFW. See what I'm telling you? I can't get all the letters straight. And then in 2012, I don't know what she was doing with all this time in between all those years, but in 2012, can you believe this? President Obama gives her the Medal of Freedom. I mean, come on. All right, that's pretty cool. Obama gives her a a Medal of Freedom. Whatever, I don't know. And then it says she gets all these other awards through the 90s, like I said, the Hall of Fame, the Ellis Island Freedom Medal. She gets the Eleanor Roosevelt Award, and then the Puffin Prize, where she wins a whole bunch of money. God knows what she's done with it. And then, oh my God, in 2018, where does she get to go? On the stage of the Academy Awards. What? That's probably the best thing of all. Amazing. And now, come on, what's the big deal? So now she's turning 90. Ooh, Dolores is turning 90. Well, happy birthday, Dolores. I love you so much. Peace and blessings to you, my sister.
¡Arriba Dolores Huerta! ¡Sí se puede!
Hello, everybody. My name is Cristela Alonso, and I am your host for this special event. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in as we celebrate the 90th birthday of activist, of icon, Dolores Huerta. Tonight, we'll be joined by many of Dolores' friends and talk about the impact of her work as we try to raise money for the Dolores Huerta Foundation, whose mission is to continue Dolores' journey, which has always been organizing communities for change. And before we officially begin this program, it is important that we address what is happening across the country right now. The video of George Floyd dying at the hands of Minneapolis police has been seen by millions across the world and is yet another example of the ongoing inequalities experienced by the Black community in this country. The Dolores Huerta Foundation would like to let the African American community know that we are here for you in support of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Tamir Rice, Oscar Grant, Philando Castile, Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, Walter Scott, Terrence Crutcher, to name a few. Those names are said to remind people that not only do Black lives matter, they are also the names of lives that will never be forgotten. We will get through this. Si se puede. And this is actually an honor for me because I always see Dolores as my mentor, as a dear friend, and I want to take this moment to actually talk to you a little bit about what we're doing. So first of all, let me tell you that I love how Dolores explains this. She turned 90. That is not an easy feat, but the way she describes it, today is a celebration of her 6th quinceañera. So she has like a whole week of quinceañera dresses in her closet. And this right now, this evening, like I said, we're going to have fun. We're going to talk to some of her loved ones, some of her friends, and talk about what we can do to always, si se puede, know that we can. And before we start the program, I would like to introduce our presenting sponsor, Procter & Gamble, who without this, none of this would have been possible, who also wants to take this moment to invite everyone to join the Hispanic Star Month of Action and support our communities in need. Go to HispanicStar.org and join the movement.
Estamos on the front line helping to keep this country going. Estamos away from the ones we love who can't wait for us to come home. Estamos aquí. Estamos optimistic. Estamos resilient. Estamos hopeful. Estamos together. This is Estamos Unidos de América, a nation united by people who help each other and understand that those who put themselves out there need support. We don't win this alone. We win this together. P&G and Hispanic Star estamos with you, providing relief for families in need and essential workers. Helping Hispanics, helping Estamos Unidos. Join us at HispanicStar.org.
And now we would like to introduce you to the executive director of the Dolores Huerta Foundation, and more importantly, Dolores' daughter, Camila Chavez.
Thank you for joining us this evening as we celebrate my mother, our leader, mentor, and shiro, Dolores Huerta. At 90 years old, she remains a full-time volunteer with the Dolores Huerta Foundation. She has been instrumental in training and empowering our youth and community organizers, as well as grassroots leaders to fight for systemic changes here in California's Central Valley and the Antelope Valley. The Dolores Huerta Foundation has created a leadership pipeline of thousands of youth, parents, and community members, Vecinos Unidos, Neighbors United, that are working together for infrastructure improvements, for health access, for clean air, clean water, education equity, and much more. And today, we're fighting more than ever. COVID-19 continues to disproportionately impact our most vulnerable communities, resulting in extreme hardship, unemployment, and losing loved ones to this disease. Which is why the Dolores Huerta Foundation is on the front lines, helping community members navigate resources, access food banks, and secure financial assistance where possible. Right now, DHF is coordinating with Vecinos Unidos to establish food banks in communities in need, as well as provide protective personal equipment for farm workers and other essential workers. And although we are facing challenges such as technology and the denial of access to decision-making processes, community members and youth have continued to organize and address the educational inequalities that are being exacerbated by COVID-19. In fact, the DHF has been successful in advocating for the distribution of meals at schools during spring breaks and ensuring that youth voices are heard during school board meetings and city council meetings while sheltered in place. The Dolores Huerta Foundation continues to work on our campaigns to ensure a complete census count, end child poverty, to pass the Schools and Communities First initiative, and end the school to prison pipeline. Our communities are resilient. We are strong, and we will continue to fight for justice and a true democracy. Please visit our website for more information and learn more about our work. We thank you for your support. Si se puede.
The power is in your body to lead, to be of service, a power to ask questions, engage, vote. Leaders lift up their neighbors, their co-workers, and their families. They show us the importance of scholarship and education, shed light on issues of equity, immigration, health, and train others to organize, inspire, and fight for justice. Those who unite communities help us understand our rights and each other. Knowledge connects us, guides us, makes us stronger. Now, more than ever, underserved communities are struggling. Many are being left behind, feeling voiceless. No matter how others may define you, you can lead. Every person is a potential activist. Each minute, a chance to change the world. The truth is, every person can make a difference. You can lead. Sí se puede.
You know, it's a weird thing to actually think that so much work can come from one person. But when you think about it, that is exactly what she has always taught us. One person is able to make change. And that is the person we're talking about. Our This is the special one. This is why we're here. The reason we have shown up. Please help me in welcoming Dolores Huerta. Dolores, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, Cristela. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being our MC today. You're such a great, wonderful person. And I do want to thank everybody who is making this, my 90th birthday, very special. I want to thank all of the artists, the producers, the marketers, the technicians, everybody, our publicists, everybody that has been involved in making this happen. And of course, especially you and Juanita Chavez, who is our development director for the foundation, and all of her team. And I know we're going to make this very special today, and I want to thank you very much for your opening remarks also, Cristela. You know, the Dolores Huerta Foundation, we have a very strong commitment to nonviolence, following the teachings of Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King, and of course, Cesar Chavez. And, you know, within the farm worker movement, we had a lot of violence. We had many people that were killed, but we always tried to respond with organized candlelight vigils and prayers. And we just want to pray for everybody that's out there. I'm sorry, I can't join the protesters because of the COVID-19. I am still homebound. But I am with you there in spirits, and I think we're all working together that we can end this. But today we want to have a party. We want to celebrate. You know, you're only 90 once. And so I want to thank everybody that has joined us and for giving us your time, for donating your time to make this happen. And to begin with, I want to introduce two very special friends of mine, and someone that I've known since she was just a teenager, and she became a big star. And of course, her dad, who is with her, who has always supported not only farm workers, but the Dolores Huerta Foundation. Yes, I want to introduce Sheila E. and her daddy, Pete Escobedo. Okay, let's welcome them, everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How's everyone doing? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
You can hear us? Okay, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we
I don't know
can't hear
why.
you.
Let me just check this and see, but it's okay. Anyway, we just wanted to say thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be here to celebrate. Yes, you're 90 once. So we're happy to be here and celebrating you. And thank you so much for all that you've done for the millions of people all over the world.
Yeah, you are so precious to us and everyone who knows you, really. It's been a long, long friendship. We consider ourselves your family because we know all of your family and we love you so much. Congratulations, 90 years young. Woo! Amen. And you don't look a day over 39. So
exactly.
You look beautiful as always. And what a pleasure to have us your celebration. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Pete, and thank you, Sheila. I look forward to joining both of you, and also Juana, you know, your mom, as soon as we can all get together and have an in-life celebration. Absolutely. Well, thank you. We wanted to play a song for you, if you don't mind. Is that okay if we play something? Oh, that would be so awesome.
Music, right?
Okay, we're going to switch over to the camera over here. Pops, well, let's go get ready.
Okay.
We're going to go switch cameras and go to the other room and play. All right.
Oh, how cool. I love this. Sheila E., this is Cristela, the host, and I got to tell you, I just love that I get to see you perform. You, awesome Latina. I can't stand it. You're awesome.
All right, 1, 2. Can you all hear us?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. All right, we're going to play something you might know, and if you're at home watching us and hanging out, this is a party. You need to get up and dance. Here we go.
Accepting the things not worth having.
Dolores. We love you.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pete.
Sí se puede.
Ay, mi Dolores, you don't know how much I remember the day I met you. It was in the 90s on a walk for Cesar Chavez. And I was so excited and nervous and scared to meet you. And I had no idea that you were gonna be so fun and smart and warm and, well, smart I knew, but clever, charming. May God bless the day you came into our world to fight for us, to fight for justice, for equality, for dignity. And may God let us keep the gift of you for another century. We desperately need you more than ever. ¡Feliz cumpleaños! ¡Que vivan los 90!
Good evening. It is a personal pleasure to bring warm greetings to the extraordinary Dolores Huerta on her 90th birthday. As Speaker of the House and as Dolores' dear friend, I was privileged to honor her at the Capitol in March during Women's History Month. But I do brag about her all the time. Since the time I first met Dolores in the 1970s, I have witnessed her transform the lives of America's most vulnerable through her unwavering commitment to social justice. Today, as so many people are suffering, Dolores and her foundation are still on the front lines, fighting to empower farm workers, immigrant communities, and the poor. The credible work of the Dolores Huerta Foundation is helping ensure that vulnerable communities receive the care and assistance that all families need during this difficult time. House Democrats stand with Dolores and the Dolores Huerta Foundation in this critical mission. In our recently passed HEROES Act, Democrats secured urgently needed relief for communities across the country, including paid leave and hazard pay for our vital farm workers who are risking their health to ensure that we can continue to put food on the table. On behalf of the Congress, thank you, Dolores, for your extraordinary courage and leadership, and happy, happy birthday. Every day you inspire us with the beautiful idea that in America, si se puede.
Big, big birthday love to the magnificent, incredible, one-of-a-kind Dolores Huerta. I mean, wow, I'm so honored to even be able to celebrate this milestone day for you, this incredible life that you constantly inspire us all, period, hands down, to know that we are possible and that we are important and that, you know, we matter. So thank you so much for just always standing for that and fighting so diligently for it under the most trying circumstances. I just want you to know that we lift you up, we honor you, we celebrate you. I'm in from my home. You know, you're probably in your home. We're all in our homes. I hope you're doing good in your home space. I hope that you're feeling good. And I just want to encourage everybody to donate to the Dolores Huerta Foundation, to constantly uplift each other, and to make sure that we're out here voting for who we want to make these changes that we know need to happen, and also to be a part of the census so we can all count all these things that Dolores stands for. I adore you. I love you. Happy birthday! Yay!
Happy birthday, Dolores. I love you. I just wanted to wish you the best. You're an amazing person, and I will not cut my hair or beard until I get a hug. Ciao, Bella.
Why does Isai look like he's the host of a 70s game show, Dolores? You seem to know so many great people. And let me just say, before we introduce our next guest, you know, Alicia Keys mentioned the census, and I know that that's something that's very important to the Dolores Huerta Foundation. So I just wanted to remind everybody, if you haven't already, please go ahead, take a moment to fill out the census. You can do it online. It's very quick. It's important to be represented. That's something that the foundation is really behind. Also, I want to say, hey, it's a birthday party and we are accepting birthday gifts. If you want and you can, please consider donating to the Dolores Huerta Foundation so that we can keep programs like this happening. So without having said that, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our next guest, amazing actor and activist, a friend of Dolores Huerta, Please help me welcome Danny Glover.
Hello, Dolores. Happy birthday. It's so great to see you. You look wonderful. Absolutely.
Thank you, Danny. So do you. So do you. Thank you for joining us.
What'd you say?
Thank you for joining us today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I couldn't miss this. I wouldn't miss this. I think about just all the moments that we've had shared together. In the service of justice, whether it's around immigrants or whether it's around the efforts to stop conflicts wherever we've been, on the picket line themselves. And I remember as early as when I was a student at San Francisco State in 1968. And so I was a part of that extraordinary coalition that brought about the School of Ethnic Studies, And that's one of the beautiful things about being born and raised in San Francisco is that there's such an synergy between the communities, the Latinx community, the African American community. And I had the privilege of not only growing up in that, but also being engaged in the struggles, whether it's Delano, Grape Strike, way back when, when we all were a little bit younger. But we're here now, and we understand that the work we need to do is right now at this particular moment, as we see the work that so many have done, have been part of. People like Martin Luther King, people like Cesar Chavez, and all those people who've done the kind of work that needs now to be amplified, and getting people out to be real participants as we look at this moment that could potentially be a very difficult moment for people in the country, in the world. But
hey, Dolores, quick question. Is there a story that you, this is a question to Dolores. Dolores, what is a story is there anything that you would like to share about Danny Glover? Because you guys seem to have a history together. So just for the viewers that are watching right now.
Well, I think it's because our relationship began with the work that we were trying to do and the work that we were supporting, whether she supported students, outside of our daughters going to Jane Fonda Camp together. So both our daughters went to Jane, and they still remain very much good friends, your youngest daughter, and my daughter went to camp together. Those are the personal stories. So we engaged with each other, involved with each other on that one level, with our teenage daughters who are no longer teenagers anymore, but also what the things that we did in the service of trying to be a part as citizens to change the narrative in this country and to fight for justice in this country. And that's what I always appreciated about that. Whether we were on picket lines, where we were on marches together, wherever it was, we were there. Where we were at rallies together in the service of propositions which were going to have a negative effect on people who were immigrants. All those particular things, all those work we did in the service of trying to work toward justice. And I think that's the most remembering thing that I remember most. I remember we were at an event at a hotel in San Francisco, and I'm always watching what Dolores, Miss Huerta would say. And so she was starting the speech in such a way at this event, and the first thing she says, we're all Africans. And I'll never forget that. So whenever I encountered or use that, I mention that. I often reference the fact in a conversation in the beginning of a speech with Dolores Huerta, she said, for all of us to understand that we're all brothers and sisters, that we all have the same needs and dynamics. And she started out saying, and understanding the lineage or the line of human development goes through Africa. We're all African.
Right.
Mr. Danny Glover, thank you so much. Dolores, would you like to take a moment to say a couple of words to Danny Glover?
Well, I want to thank Danny for celebrating my 80th birthday and for being here on my 90th birthday, and also to thank him because Danny was one of those persons that was out there on the front lines breaking down the doors so that people could be admitted to college. He was one of those that opened the doors for Latinos, for African Americans, for Asians to be able to get into college. People don't know about that. And I hope someday, Danny, that they do a documentary about all of the great work that you have done for social justice. And thank you again for joining us today.
But thank you for being with us, and thank you for being. I'm just so grateful. I'm a part of your journey as well. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Oh, how fantastic. It's so interesting to actually, you see someone on screen and then you realize that so many of them have another life where, especially people that you come across, they can be on the screen, but also they have this life of fighting for change that a lot of people don't know about, and I think our next guest is actually someone that you have seen on screen and you're actually pretty aware of, especially in the Latino community, of the contributions she's done. Please help me welcoming our next guest, the awesome, I love her to death, Eva Longoria.
What's
What's up, Eva? How you doing?
I'm fine, Eva. How are you?
Oh my God, Dolores, I can't even believe, I kept saying, I got to jump on Dolores's 80th birthday party. And everybody corrected me saying 90th, because to me, you still feel 25. You still have the spirit and the fight and the charm that you've had your entire life. And so I'm just so happy to be here and celebrate you and to, really build upon all of the work you have done your entire life. It is not only our responsibility, it is an honor and a privilege to honor your legacy and continue to fight for equal rights and just justice. Because I know you've done so much for farm workers and that's your cause, but like for our entire community, no matter what the issue and causes, you have always been there. And so I'm in awe, and I look up to you so much, and you inspire me from the moment I landed in Hollywood. You told me, you said, Hermana, one day you're going to have a voice and you better have something to say. And I'll never forget that.
Well, I want to thank you because not only are you a great star, and I remember when I first met you, you were just a starlet. And who would have imagined that you would have become such a great celebrity, but then also using your celebrity to give that voice. And I know you support so many causes, especially your foundation for children that have cancer, and always being out there, not only on the social scene, but also on the civic scene, on the political scene. And yes, you are using your voice to really make life better for everyone, but also like what you represent for all Latinas, to know that you are not only an artist, an actor, you're a producer, you're a businesswoman, you are, wow, very, very mucho grande, very, very big. Eva, so thank you for taking time to join us today, and I hope to see you very soon so that we can kind of hang out and have lunch.
I need to be with you. I need to be in your presence because it's just, I was really lucky, Cristela. I met Dolores when I moved to Hollywood 20 years ago. And I was an aspiring actress. And that's when she saw me and she said, look, I don't care what you become, but you're going to become a soldier for this effort. And I never forgot that. And I never disconnected with her.
What's funny is that she told me almost the same thing. At some point, she was like, look, when you have the ability, it's your job. And I'm like, oh my, yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, we have the responsibility to continue the work. And Dolores is one person that has inspired and been a multiplier of so many people. And for me, we have to continue to inspire the next generations because the fight is long and the fight is not over.
Well, here's a question, Eva, because you are really not only in the Latinx community space, but I mean, look, you are continuously busy. you do donate your time, your efforts to so many causes, which I see it on Instagram all the time. I'm like, this girl does not stop. You have a fundraiser for fundraisers. You are always helping out. So my whole question is, what do you think are some of the key elements that you have learned from Dolores in maintaining the energy? Because it is exhausting when you're trying to be a part of any movement, and we've both seen it with Dolores. I mean, she will outdance everyone at any party after she's already talked to you for 8 hours. So, I mean, what are some of the lessons you've learned?
So many lessons. First of all, she came to my foundation gala, the Eva Longoria Foundation, and she goes, "I'm so sorry I'm late. It was my 4th event tonight." I was like, I'm exhausted from this event. How did you do 4? Like, if you want to complain about being tired, just look towards Dolores Huerta and she will set you straight and be like, the day has never ended until, the day is ended. And I think here's the biggest misconception is that you have to be rich and famous to make a difference. And that is simply not true. Everybody can make a difference. Everybody can do something. And so she told me, look, we need your help and we need you to fight for farm worker rights and we need you to do this. Before I was famous, she was telling me as a citizen and as a human being, you should be involved in these things because you are a human being. And then, I really was excited when I finally got a platform to somehow reach more people with her message, not my message, her message. And but she didn't reach out to me because I was the Eva Longoria I am today. She reached out to me because she goes, "You're young and you're Latina and you should care."
Dolores, is there anything that you'd like to say to Eva before we move forward?
Well, I just want to thank her for staying true to the cause and for always remembering. And just because she is now very famous, that she hasn't forgotten that path to justice, that she's still on there and bringing people with her. So muchas gracias, Eva, and so happy to see you and hope to get together with you soon.
I know. I'm so
Eva,
excited.
thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this. Let me tell you, I don't know why it took a global pandemic to realize farm workers are essential workers, because they've been essential for a very long time to the American food supply chain. And so,
why? Right? Because now we go to supermarkets and we realize that food's missing and they're like, "Oh, but why?" And they're like, it turns out they matter. Hey, Eva, thank you so much. I hope I get to see you in person soon.
Bye, you guys. Love you. Happy birthday.
Bye. Bye.
Happy birthday.
Hi, Dolores. I am Marina de Tavira. I'm here in Mexico, and I want to celebrate your birthday, celebrate your life, and thank you for everything you've done. Celebrar tu lucha y darte las gracias en nombre de las mujeres mexicanas por todo lo que has hecho, por lo que sigues haciendo y por lo que nos inspiras. Happy birthday.
Dolores, Diego Luna here. Just want to be part of your celebration, and I want to let you know that you're very important for me and for many in this country. Que viva Dolores.
Viva Dolores.
Que viva la lucha y que te tengamos muchísimos años más para que nos enseñes el camino.
Feliz cumpleaños, gracias.
Dolores is clearly the youngest 90-year-old person in the United States. She is as passionate, energetic, and determined as ever. Over the last few years, she's knocked on doors for candidates in every corner of our country, joined teachers in Los Angeles on the picket lines, and spoken out for reproductive rights. And Hillary and I are both inspired and grateful for the work that the Dolores Huerta Foundation is doing to address the urgent needs of so many immigrants, farm workers, and essential workers during the pandemic.
Once again, Dolores is truly on the front lines. Her famous call to action, "Yes, we can, si se puede," is a reminder that each of us has a voice and that we are more powerful than we realize when we come together.
For any of you out there who wants to really pay tribute to Dolores on her birthday, how about double checking your voter registration and filling out the census?
Amen to both of those. We could not be more grateful and honored to join all of you in wishing this very gutsy woman happy birthday, Dolores.
We love you.
Godspeed.
Thank you for being our role model. You're my role model. You're one of my heroes. Thank you so much. Everything that you've done. You make me accountable. You understand the importance of never forgetting about low-income immigrant families, about politically disempowered farm workers and other essential communities who are disproportionately just impacted by pandemics, by economic crisis, by simply insensitive and apathetic governments. Thank you for just saying, hey, you know what? Those people matter. We as the people matter. Thank you so much. And also thank you for urging us to be responsible and register to vote, register for the census. We, by the numbers, become a larger community, and it's thanks to you, Dolores Huerta, to remind us. You've reminded us that this is important, that we are important, that America, from where we're standing, is important too. So happy birthday. What an honor to celebrate you. What an honor to be here. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Make a wish.
I just want to thank you for your lifetime of activism and your selfless public service. Your place in history is assured with your instrumental role in forming the Farm Workers Union. Your Medal of Freedom is well deserved. The force is strong with you, Dolores, and I'm wishing you the happiest of birthdays.
Dolores, you got a birthday message from Luke Skywalker. As a sci-fi nerd, I feel like it's my birthday now. You know, Zoe Saldana brought up a good point. Your foundation really, like I said before, what you guys do, you really convince people to fill out the census, to register to vote. It's little things that people don't sometimes know is so necessary and yet so simple to do. You know, and part of what I like about the mission about the Dolores Huerta Foundation is that you go and educate people about basic information that sometimes is overlooked, especially in certain communities. And, you know, I have to say that, again, like I said previously, we are accepting birthday gifts. And I would like to take this moment to say that you can donate. More information is available in the comments section where you're watching the video, or you can go to doloreshuerta.org and donate there. And having said that, our next guest, I am so happy to welcome, because I know that in a crowded room, I can still be seen and heard, because all I have to do, and I learned it from her, is bring a seat to the table if the seat doesn't exist at the table yet. Please help me welcome special guest, Representative Maxine Waters.
Wow. What an introduction, and thank you so very much. But I feel so pleased and proud that I was asked to be here today to celebrate Dolores' 90th birthday. Dolores is one person that most people don't understand how she could have accomplished so much in her lifetime, how many lives she has changed. The work that she has done is just unparalleled. I want to tell you, I was in Sacramento when Dolores was working on opening up opportunities and dealing with what was going on with farm workers. I was there when she was walking the halls with Cesar. I was there when she was coming to Sacramento, and she was 8-9 months pregnant with another child, but still working to make sure that we moved in that legislature to deal with what was happening with farm workers. It was atrocious. We had farm workers working in the fields, sleeping on the ground at night. We didn't have any housing for them. We had farm workers working under, being doused with pesticides as they were spraying on, the farms. We had workers who, were not getting paid. They didn't have any breaks. They didn't have any lunch hours. They had none of that. It's Dolores Huerta on the front lines, working day and night throughout her career, basically, to ensure that this country recognized that we had farm workers who were producing the food that we eat every day, yet they were being treated in the way that they were treated before Dolores and Cesar took over. And they produced the legislation. And I'll never forget, and I have to give Howard Berman credit, right, Dolores? Because he was right there on the front line and in position to help move that legislation and help all of us be a part of it. So I just talk about that aspect. But look, Dolores Huerta was a feminist before it was popular. She is called on by women all over this country to participate in events supporting women because she demonstrated that not only can you be, someone working for farm workers, not only can you be someone that's working for the least of these and for poor people and talking about organized labor in general, not only with the farm workers, but she was someone who understood that women have great voices, that we are talented, we are creative, and that all of this was being missed if in fact women were not given opportunities. So when you hear Gloria Steinem and everybody talk about Dolores, it's because she dared to be a Latino who was a feminist at a time when none of us were supposed to be feminists, not Latinas or Black women in particular. And so I want you to know I have the greatest respect for her. I've marched with her. I love her. And I have to tell you, I sometimes get carried away. Well, I get carried away a lot. And so, I'm out there screaming and shouting. She is the coolest person I've ever known. She has such dignity and she presents in such a way. She's got this strength, and when she talks about what she wants you to do, that you've got to do it. But she does it in such a way that you're not intimidated. So she's brought along a lot of young people. And I have to tell you, we still call on her to be on our literature when we run for re-election to office. Because guess what? Many of the people in our districts, and that's Latinos alike, they don't know some of the newer people, but they know Dolores Huerta. And so she endorses me, has been endorsing me to run for re-election for years in all of my campaigns. And I don't put literature out unless her picture is on it. So I can tell you, she has been a great influence, a very positive influence, a strong influence in so many sectors of our society. Whether we're talking about farm workers and all of organized labor, whether we're talking about education, immigration issues, whether we're talking about poverty. And now, guess who's in the leadership of talking about the census? Young people, get on. Come on, you better get with it. Dolores is out there leading on helping you to understand that if we want the resources to come into our community that we deserve, that we've got to sign up. We've got to fill out the census form. We are lacking in so many resources because we just don't fill them out. We don't trust the government. I understand the distrust that some people don't have, but I guarantee you, this is confidential information, that this information is not shared with anything or anybody. All it's shared with is the formulas to see how much money we're going to get for education and Head Start and healthcare and on and on and on. Thank you for being in the leadership once again on one of the most important issues of our time. And if we fill out the census rolls and the information that we're supposed to share, and we register to vote, we can emerge in this country, really have an appreciation for freedom and justice and equality, because all of the sacrifices and the work that you have done, and people who have listened to you, who have followed you have done, brings us to that point.
First of all, Dolores has done the work. Let me say, as a person, as a woman of color, I have to say that both of you, it is exciting, and you don't understand that just by using your voice, both of you, it is so inspirational and something that I need to learn to trust my own voice. And that's something that we all have to work with in this journey. So Dolores, is there anything that you would like to tell Representative Waters before we leave?
Well, I guess, Maxine, I just want to thank you very much for joining us today. You're such a great leader for everybody, not only for Californians, but for the whole United States of America. And thank you for standing up to that bully. And you know who I'm talking about, okay? And so when you do that, you make us all very proud, and you really give every single woman strength when we hear you talk, Maxine. So keep on using that voice, keep on defending us, keep on defending our country, and thank you for being who you are. Thank you, Maxine. Thank you for joining us today.
You're so welcome. You're our leader. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's amazing, you know. And you look, this is a birthday party, and we already saw Sheila E. and Pete Escobedo at the top of the show, but a birthday party's got to have some music. And this next guest is actually a dear friend of Dolores Huerta. When I think of him and I think of his music, I always think of a good vibe, a good energy, and any time that a musician, an artist can help me feel better through their art, you can't help but just understand that they're special. Having said that, I would love to take this moment to welcome Carlos Santana. Cindy and Carlos Santana, thank you so much for joining us today.
There's so many stories to share with and about Dolores. I think the main one for me is that I always see her as the general of generals. I always see her as like the first, I see her as being the first woman that ever is gonna get a national holiday and is gonna get avenues, streets, parks, and universities. Maybe even change the school Mission Dolores and call it just Dolores. So, you know, over the years, all of us have just been watching you unfold year after year, just bringing equality, fairness, and justice, and so much beauty and grace and courage. Cindy, would you like to say something?
Yes, we just want to remind everyone that this period, as grave as it is, and maybe to many, it's also a time to really push the reset button and really remember your humanity, because the separation and the masks and all the things that are required of us to do at this time can make us forget that we are not each other's enemies. We are each other's friends. We're all here to help each other, to love each other. So remember your compassion, your kindness, your caring, and your recognition of the divinity within yourself, but as well within every person who you meet, because everyone that you see is another you.
Dolores is an archangel of the highest order. She brings here grace, courage, elegance, and a mightiness about creating the impossible, which means helping humans get rid of more walls, borders. You know, we saw the Berlin Wall come down because we knew it didn't work. This wall will come down. So anyway, thank you for everything. Happy birthday, Dolores.
Happy birthday, Dolores. We love you.
And thank you for your life.
I love that. Thank you so much to Carlos and Cindy and Tana for that wonderful performance. Our next guest is very awesome. As a stand-up comic, as a comedian, I'm very excited to be able to introduce him. Please welcome to the show, Cheech Marin. You might have recognized him from Cheech and Chong. Cheech Marin, please. Hello, how are you?
I'm here. How are you? Happy birthday, Dolores. 90. God, you don't look a day over 80.
Gracias, Cheech. Gracias, Cheech. Thank you for coming on.
De nada. It's good to see you. And everybody's been lauding your many accomplishments over the years. And so I would be like bringing coals to Newcastle to heap more praise on you. So every birthday should be celebrated with a toast and a drink. And so I've sent over to you a birthday present, my tres papalote mezcal. So somebody hand it to her off stage here. Did it get there?
Oh my gosh.
Eso.
Oh, wow. This is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Unwrap it.
Wow.
We're going to drink it, honey.
Okay, doke. Unwrap it. Okay.
There you
go. Oh.
Dolores, I hope that gift fits.
There you go.
Tequila.
And I'm going to pour me some here.
Wait a minute.
I'll pour me a little more there. All right. Feliz cumpleaños. How are you?
Gracias, Cheech. I'm fine, thank you.
That's good. Happy birthday to you. But that's just only one gift. I have another gift for you, but it's not packaged yet. We haven't come up with the graphics and the packaging, but it's a new thing I've developed because I'm out here in the desert, the distancing, social, whatever that is, distancing. So I'm really distant out here, and I'm wandering around. I'm in the Mojave Desert, and I've been thinking, the only thing that really scares me about this whole situation is a break in the food chain. So I've been working on something to guarantee our food supply here in the desert. And I've come up with a product that I'm going to send you right away. It's called Cheech's Free Range Jackrabbit Jerky. And so it has been.
That's good. That's veggie too. That's veggie.
It's been pre-flattened to ensure freshness from our shovel to your table. And now it comes in jalapeno. All right.
Okay.
Jalapeno Jackrabbit Jerky. It's coming to you. Just remember, Cheech's Free Range Jackrabbit Jerky. It's fast food, just not fast enough. And so, happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You should be on the. Your face should be on the money. I mean, it should be like $100. That would be worth a lot of money. Congratulations for everything you've ever done, and may you have 90 more years.
Thank you very much, Cheech. And I also want to thank you for all of your contributions to the art, especially to Chicano, to Mexican art, and for your wonderful museum that you're building out there in Riverside, the Cheech Museum out there, because we know that it's not only a place that's going to be holding a lot of great art, but it's also going to be a place where young people can come and learn about art and actually practice art, have their hands on, because we know this is so important, especially for our young people, so that they can keep themselves safe and learn about our culture. And you have been a leader for our Latino culture from the day one, and keeping everybody laughing. And this is what we need. We need more Cheech Marin right now in these days. So muchas gracias, Cheech, and muchas gracias for the wonderful, wonderful tequila drink. And I just want to say que viva Cheech, okay? Y todo su trabajo.
Gracias. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, Dolores Huerta. Second time turning 45, eh? Tell them, you know what? You should tell them that you're 89 plus 1. Okay? You're like a fine wine. I mean, our vintage car, your value only increases with the years. And they should arrest you because it should be illegal to look that good. You know, my grandmother had a great prayer. She'd always say, grant me the senility to forget the people I never liked, and the good fortune to run into the ones I do like, and the eyesight to tell the difference. Dolores, age is only the number the world has been enjoying you. You know, I did a little research, and back when you were born in 1930, Herbert Hoover was president. And Glenn Miller's In the Mood was #1 on the music charts. A gallon of gas was 10 cents and a burger was 13 cents. The Chrysler Building in New York was finished, and unemployment was so high that Herbert Hoover created unemployment benefits. And you know what was special? Pluto was discovered. Dolores, age only matters if you're cheese, okay? So I celebrate you with this song. Sweet dreams are made of cheese, and who am I to disagree? I cheddar the world and the feta cheese. Everybody's looking for Stilton. Love you. Please have many, many more.
Happy birthday, Dolores. Matt McGorry here. Just wishing you a happy birthday. I want to say it was a pleasure to get to meet you in Washington, D.C. at the Fire Drill Friday. I was awed by your just beautiful spirit, your presentness, your empathy, your just radiating compassion. And I imagine that's what it takes to sustain a full lifetime of activism in the way that you have. You know, my feminist heart fluttered getting to meet you, and you know, just your legacy is so incredible and so inspiring. And you know, there's so much that activists of my generation can learn from the folks who came before us, and you are a shining example of that. So I want to say that I appreciate you and thank you for inspiring me and many others. And also thank you for doing the work with the Coronavirus Relief Fund with the Dolores Huerta Foundation. I appreciate you consistently looking out for the most marginalized and the most impacted.
Hello, Raul Grijalva here, Congressman from Southern Arizona and Chairman of the Natural Resources Committee in the House of Representatives. Dolores, que te cante las mañanitas, and I'm here to wish you the best and to thank you. What you have done to promote many important values in this country was too many to repeat. But what I want to talk about is the environment. You have talked about environmental justice. You have talked about the need to conserve, to protect our natural wonders. And you have talked about workers being protected from pesticides and working and where they work. You have raised that flag that the rest of us are following. So thank you, Dolores, for your persistence and for showing us an example that being persistent, being strong, being independent, and giving voice to the powerless is a good thing. Good for our democracy, good for this country, and good for all of us. Thank you, Dolores.
Hi, I'm Regina Romero, the mayor of Tucson, Arizona, and I'm the first Chicana ever elected in the more than 200 years of its history. And you, Dolores, were part of it. You have been my inspiration since before I knew you. I am the proud daughter of immigrant farm workers, and your work in the fields to work for working families, to defend us against the use of pesticides in the fields, your work on environmental justice and equity for women and families has been amazing for our community and for this country. Thank you so much for your valiant efforts, for your persistence, and for staying the course on defending workers, women, civil rights, families, you name it. Thank you so much for your work for our environment and for everything that you do and that you continue doing for working families in our country. Muchísimas gracias. Te deseo muchos años más. And come back to Tucson, Arizona. Te queremos mucho.
That's awesome. Dolores, I'm really excited about our next guest because you are going to get excited about this guest. She is an actor, she is an activist, and also she hosted one of your previous birthday parties. Please help me welcome Alfre Woodard.
Dolores, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Hi, my sister. How are you? Oh my God, I'm so you are fine, darling. You are a walking commercial for collecting years. And you know, women like us, we don't deal in solar years. That's just how the man keeps track of us, want to know when we were born and all of that. Then they want to know where we're going. Well, you know, it's none of their business. But we need a good theme to gather around about, and celebrating you every day is certainly one of those things we can do. You look great in that purple.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Alfie, for being here with me. I know that we've traveled the same journey, and you were such a great inspiration to us when we were fighting to keep affirmative action before they took it away from us on the state level. Just being there with the Feminist Majority Foundation and, doing all of those events that we did to try to hold on to that. We lost it then. And, two of my sons, Fidel, the doctor, and Emilio, the attorney, never would have gotten into school had it not been for affirmative action. But you know what, Alfie? We're going to get it back, because I understand we might put an initiative on the ballot. And thank you for always being there. With the Brat Brothers, I remember the first movie that they made, that you were there promoting that and helped them make that movie. So you've always been there with us. And thank you again. You did such a great job in hosting my 80th birthday, and here you are with us again. And I know that we're going to continue this journey of social justice together.
We will. And I have to tell you, it's your birthday, but you remain the gift to us, because I wouldn't even know how to struggle if it wasn't for you, Dolores. You having like a sister elder in front of you, where you can watch. You are the person that when I look to, my North Star, I learned how to first insist, then how to persist, and then how to strategize. You showed for all of us women, all thinking women look to you and think, okay, this is how you lead. Because we know that women lead in a way with clarity, that men, we love them, but men they're incapable of making that jump to clarity and nurturing and balance while they lead. So you give all of that, and you give in every day. And I'm excited, because right now, my sister, more than ever, we need a picture of a way forward. And I am still looking towards you. And when the young ones are looking to me, I say, do you know who Dolores Huerta is? Let me show you. Let's go to the mountain, and let's touch the rock at the mountain. And you're all of that, Dolores, and you're also just my fun big sister. I love you. And I think the reason that you bring so much change is that the most important thing you've given us is the lesson of struggling, waging the struggle in joy.
So thank you, Alfred, for being there with us. And I know that you'll stay with us till the very end. Muchas gracias. And
I remain. Okay, si se puede, darling. Bye, Cristela.
Thank you, sister.
Bye, Alfred. Oh, how wonderful. That's the thing, is that up to now, we've seen so many people that have just crossed your path and have learned something from the work. And, that brings us to the perfect timing where I wanted to mention the documentary Dolores, because the documentary came out, and, it's funny because I feel like I had a good sense of who you are. But once I saw the documentary, I felt as if I really got a sense of you as a person and why the work is so important to you from your point of view, because it's a documentary. So I get to see the journey with you and your family. So I would like to introduce a clip from the Dolores documentary so that people can see a little bit more about what the documentary is and what your story is about. Everybody, Dolores.
When people in Arizona they told me, no, Dolores, no se puede. You can't do this in Arizona, only in California. My response to them was, sí se puede.
Hers was the rallying cry that would later come to define the presidential campaign of candidate Barack Obama.
Yes, we can.
Have you heard President Obama say, yes, we can? It came from Cesar Chavez, sí se puede.
Dolores Huerta came up with the slogan, Si se puede, and we all attribute that to Cesar Chavez, even Barack Obama. Of course, when he gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, he had to correct himself.
On a personal note, Dolores was very gracious when I told her I had stolen her slogan, Si se puede, yes we can. Knowing her, I'm pleased that she let me off easy, because Dolores does not play.
That's a wonderful documentary. I was able to see it many times. I own it. It was distributed by PBS. If you haven't had a chance to see it, I highly suggest it. It's a great story. And having said that, I would like to introduce some of the people that made that documentary actually possible. Please help me in welcoming Peter and Benjamin Bratt, the Bratt brothers. How are you guys?
Hey,
oh, there we go.
Happy birthday, Dolores.
Happy birthday, Dolores.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Dolores.
Actually, Benjamin and I, we were just watching the news of everything that's unfolding right now, the protests across the country. And both of us were saying we need a good dose of Dolores Huerta and the Si se puede spirit about right now.
Yes, it's badly needed, especially when we talk about, practicing and the nonviolent movement, which is what we really need right now to show, especially our young people, that we can win with nonviolence. And we've got to do these protests, but we've got to do them in an organized way. And I know all of us that on this show would love to be there with the protesters. We can't be there right now because of our lockdown. But we want to pray for all the people that have been killed by police. And we have to work very hard to make sure that we can change the policies and the practices so that we can, make it a fair world and stop the killing of our young people, especially our young people of color.
I have a question for you guys. So like I was saying right before I introduced you, I love the documentary. To me, this is what I couldn't understand. I have read about Dolores. I have seen videos about Dolores, but for some reason, the documentary seemed like you captured a side that I hadn't been able to really get about Dolores. And I want to ask you, what was it? I mean, is that something that just came naturally? Was it something that just popped out at you? Because I feel like sometimes, especially with someone like Dolores, she doesn't see the impact of what she is and what she gives. But the documentary,
Stella,
really, I recommend it to everybody.
You know what it was, Cristela?
What?
Yes. home movie footage, right, Pete?
No, I mean, first of all, Cristela, we have to give props to our brother Carlos Santana, because it was really his inspiration. Carlos said, he called me up and he said, I want to make a superhero movie. And so then when we sat down and met with Dolores, the first thing that struck me, I knew some of her kids from previous work in the past, and Dolores and my mom go, back decades. And there was so much about Dolores and her family. My brother and I, we were movement children. We were raised by an activist mother. And so really when we started talking about it was to kind of approach the story, not through Dolores's lens, but really as a family lens. And so we wanted to incorporate the voices of her children and the experiences. Dolores did fight it a little bit. Dolores, to her credit, she didn't want it to be about her. She really wanted the film to be, to teach young people how to organize. And I said, trust that your story is so compelling, people will get all that, but be compelled and inspired by your personal narrative as well.
Yeah. Hey, Dolores, what did you think about the message of the documentary, your experience working with both Bratt brothers, with Carlos Santana? Do you feel the documentary is really important? Do you understand how important the documentary is?
Well, I think they had kind of drummed that into my head, and I want to thank both of them for their patience, and also I want to thank both Benjamin and Peter for their vision, because they were way out there when Peter and Benjamin made the movie La Misión. And they were that movie was about the homophobia in the Latino community, and that was such a strong movie, so that we could kind of break down some of that homophobia and treat people with respect, no matter who they are. And so they're visionaries, and again, they did the same thing with the documentary. There are things in there that I never would have thought of putting in there. And I also want to say, hey, Benjamin, congratulations on the Academy Award for Coco, okay? Because that was so amazing to get to bring the Latino culture, to the entire world.
Yeah.
So we are so fortunate to have you both in our lives and for our Latino community, and so that you could give voice to all of us, but to the entire world. Thank you both very, very much. And thank you for joining me on my birthday.
It is an honor, Dolores.
Dolores, you know we love you. You're part of our family. And even with all that personal connection, we're still in awe of you and all you do and the inspiration you provide all of us. So happy birthday. We love you so much.
Thank you.
I hate
Thank
how
you so
great
much.
you guys are. I hate how great you guys are.
We here at Culture Clash Central Committee stand in solidarity with Comrade Dolores Huerta on her joyous birthday occasion and wish her many more years of social justice and hard labor.
I'm Dolores Huerta, and today's Culture Clash word of the day is... Oops, that's the wrong card.
This week's word of the day is híjole. Híjole.
Sister Huerta's favorite movie of all time is Grapes of Wrath and Nacho Libre.
Do you not realize I have had diarrhea since Easter's?
Dolores Huerta? It's me, Nacho! Mucho gusto, encantado. Oh, I love you. Thank you for all the beautiful, amazing things you've done your whole life. Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños. Hasta luego. Mi amiga, mi compadre, Dolores Huerta. Adios.
Hey, it's Alec Baldwin here. I wanted to wish a happy birthday, a happy 90th birthday to Dolores Huerta, one of the great activists in this country today. Going back to your formation of the National Farm Workers Association, which became the United Farm Workers, your own foundation, which has been recognized for such important work you've done. You received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Obama. What a great career you've had. And I've really tried to emulate you in one particular way, which might come as no surprise to you, which is I am about to have my 6th child. I believe, if I read correctly, Dolores Huerta has 11 children. So there's still time. Happy birthday, Dolores.
Dolores Huerta means to me so many beautiful things. Someone that has power, compassion, empathy, fortitude, and humility. She's a wonderful leader. She's my shiro. She taught me so much. She can outlast all of us, and God bless her. She's so young at 90. Many of us can't even keep up with her, but I love her. She's there on the hard issues when we try to support women and protect their choice, pro-choice, as well as protecting women in other countries like Ciudad Juarez when she went down there with me, and we were able to turn around the opinions of politicians there who didn't want us getting involved in the women of Ciudad Juarez who were being murdered there. I am so thankful to have her as a friend and a close personal ally. I was always blessed to be around her. I learned so much. And in fact, many people would say when I was in the state senate that she was part of my staff, and I gladly took that as a badge of honor. Thank you so much, y felicidades, y sí se puede.
Dolores Huerta, I love you so much. I mean, everything that is an example of what's important in our culture, you are. So happy 90th birthday. You taught me not to eat a grape. You know, the last grape that I had was fed to me as a toddler. I didn't want it, pero todavía they made me eat it. And Coors, If I see somebody with a cord, I kick it como like kung fu out of their hands. Then I run. So happy birthday, Se Puede. You taught us that. I wish you all the best in your life, and you have more love than is measured. And God bless you, and thank you for being there for us, and that I'm able to, with good lighting, send you this message, porque estoy muy viejo. On my back, ya me está haciendo un chorro. Happy birthday, Dolores. I love you.
I love that George is like, I haven't eaten grapes since I was a kid. That's so George. I love it. Everybody, thank you for joining us once again. My name is Cristela Alonso. I am hosting the online 90th birthday party for Dolores Huerta. Our goal today is to help raise funds for the Dolores Huerta Foundation. And if you haven't already, you can see it as a form of birthday gifts. You know, we accept birthday gifts in the form of donations. So if you would like, please feel free to go to doloreshuerta.org, or there's also more information in the comment section wherever platform you're watching the video at. So I just wanted to say that. And right now, look, birthday party has been having music. We've been having cool guests. Right now, we're going back to the music portion. I want to introduce this awesome group that you're going to love. Please help me welcome Aloe Black and Maya Jupiter.
Happy birthday, Dolores Huerta. We're so excited to celebrate you tonight.
I'm Aloe Black.
And I'm Maya Jupiter.
And we are artivists. We are inspired by your example. Thank you for a lifetime of fighting for the people. Sí, se puede.
90 years young. Woo! This song is called Rico.
It's about being rich with love.
And hope.
Yes.
Something we need right now, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. We know we're rich because we got you.
Buenos dias, good morning, let the sun shine through. Even if I had nothing, I'd give something to you. I'm not worried about a thing, just what good the day will bring. I got the spirit in me. Little children with no shoes running in the street. Mama working in the kitchen fixing something to eat. All the neighbors out front playing dominoes, drinking beer in the shade, trying to beat the heat.
Maybe I don't have as much as the next man. No matter how much money is in my hands, it won't define me. I know where I stand. Never could blind me, that's not who I am. Yo tengo mi familia, so I got peace. Cuando estamos juntos, it brings relief. When the stress of the world tries to pull you down, turn up the music and dance to the sound.
Oh, no lo soy, lo poquito que yo tengo. Te lo doy, el dinero no me alcanza. Lo que aún es la esperanza. Rico, no lo soy, lo poquito que yo tengo. Te lo doy, el dinero no me alcanza. Lo que aún es la esperanza. Even though I don't have much.
I don't have much.
Everything that I have is for us.
It's for us.
See, money don't mean nothing to me and my folk. Cause what we have is a whole lot of hope. Hey.
Mango juice dripping down my hands. Sink of my feet into the white sand. Swimmer free in a crystal blue sea. Wondering who's who sailed and settled. Prevail with metal while facing adversity. La fuerza del obrero.
I live with the song in me. Yeah, Rico. No lo soy, lo poquito que yo tengo. Te lo doy, el dinero no me alcanza. Lo que abunda es la esperanza. Rico. No lo soy, lo poquito que yo tengo. Te lo doy, el dinero no me alcanza. Lo que abunda es la esperanza. Rico, no lo soy, lo poquito que yo tengo. Lo poquito que yo tengo.
El dinero no me alcanza.
No me alcanza. Lo que abunda es la esperanza. Rico, no lo soy, lo poquito que yo
man, we're so happy to be here tonight with you all and celebrating the iconic, the legend, Miss Dolores Huerta. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. That was an awesome performance. Our next guest is actually part of a family that really needs no introduction, but I'll do it anyway. Please help me welcome Carrie Kennedy.
Hello. There we go. Dolores, I'm so happy to be talking to you. Happy birthday. I want you to see that I brought a bottle of champagne. I'm opening it up just for you.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you.
I've known Dolores since 1966 when my dad, Bobby Kennedy, worked with Dolores and Cesar on farm workers issues in California. And we've been just, Dolores has been my mentor, my friend, my confidant, my inspiration ever since. And just so happy to be with you, Dolores. A few years ago, Dolores and I worked together on farm workers in New York State. And it was really, one of those moments when I felt like I am so blessed to have this woman working with me and to see her in action with legislators. At that time, farm workers had no right to a day off per week, no right to overtime pay, no right to form a union, and no right to workers' comp. One of the farm workers we talked to worked 3 4-hour shifts, midnight till 4 a.m., 8 a.m. till 12 noon, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., and started again at midnight. And he did that for 10 years. Without a single day off, without overtime pay. His wife was permanently disabled on the job and fired on the way to the hospital. Those were the conditions that were legal in New York State. And the farmers and the legislators did not want to change that law. And when Dolores came in and sat down and talked with such a genuine attitude, with such moral authority, and with so much love, it really had an enormous impact. And last year, after 16 years of trying, we finally passed that law, and now farm workers have all the rights of every other worker in the state of New York. That's because of Dolores Huerta. And that's her vision, that's her moral authority, and that's who she is at her core. Dolores, you're somebody who never looks at the past, who's always looking to the future, always saying, how are we going to win this year's race? How are we going to stop the wall right now? What are we going to do next on women's rights? And never, playing to the victories in the old days of the past. So I'm just so happy to be with you. And can I say one other thing, Dolores?
Sure.
An example of this is about a year ago, I went to you and said, I'm doing some work with an organization called Us Against Alzheimer's, and Alzheimer's so impacts the Latino community and particularly women. And you got right on board that day and started working on this, and this new project, this new arena, because wherever there's injustice, Dolores Huerta is going to be there at your side. So happy to be with you, and happy birthday, sweetheart.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. And I want to thank you for your persistence. And you're working with all the farm worker groups there in New York State to be able to finally win that fabulous victory last year to get the Farm Worker Bill of Rights. And I'm so happy to join you in the Alzheimer's, yes, Us Against Alzheimer's, we know how important that is. And Carrie, you have been a force for justice all over the world in recognizing people out there that many people forget about or don't even know that they are the people, the heroes that are fighting for social justice, for peace and justice. And you have made this happen, Carrie. Thank you for being our leader. And I'm so happy to be able to call you my friend and my confidant and my hero and my comadre, okay? Which, as we continue to keep working on social justice together. So viva Carrie Kennedy, viva la familia Kennedy. We all love you very much.
Dolores!
Thank you. Thank you.
Si se puede. I love you, honey.
Thank you so much. Oh man, you know can't help but get emotional when you hear about the conditions and just what the farm workers have to deal with, what they live through. And it's so great to have someone like Carrie Kennedy and you working together. It's a reminder of what still needs to be done in this country. And that was really awesome. That was just a great moment. Our next guest is actually someone that was very influential to me personally in becoming an actor. I grew up in South Texas in the Rio Grande Valley. This man came to visit my high school when I was a sophomore or junior to give a talk to the students. And when I saw him, I realized that I actually was able to chase my dream of acting. And I really owe it partly to him. Please help me welcoming Edward James Olmos.
Querida Dolores, I've been with you in heart, spirit, and soul for over 50 years. I'm crying right now because we're celebrating your 90th birthday on one of the most difficult time periods in the history of this country. I'm crying because we need to understand everything that you stand for. You have given so much to so many people, and this is a happy occasion. This is your 90th celebration on this planet. I have 73. You've hit a very high bar. I must tell you, I am so grateful to know you, to understand your plight. What you've given to Cesar, what you've given to the planet has been overwhelming. But man, I have to say thank you to your children. I want to say thank you to them for sharing you with us. They have sacrificed you to us. And what you've given to us has been monumental in scope. Si se puede, without you, there's no si se puede. Without you, we would not be who we are today. You gave me the ground roots to be able to understand who I am. You gave us the ability to be proud. I cry because it's really tough right now. LA's exploding. The country is exploding. As I say this to you, I've been trying to make people understand, but it's impossible right now. We have justice is coming to fruition through the hardest understanding possible. We know that violence begets violence. We know the teachings of Cesar. We know the teachings that you gave us, the teachings that Gandhi gave us, that Jesus Christ gave us. We know these things, and yet we can't stand by them because there's too many factions right now that have a political structure behind them that just doesn't work. Our extreme left, our extreme right are killing us. And right now, with the kind of presidency that we have right now, the kind of politic that we have right now, it's impossible for us to really understand ourselves. So you give me hope. And I'm crying because I get to say thank you to you on your 90th year of life. And I say to you from the bottom of my heart, and my children, my grandchildren, and my mother, thank you for coming to her funeral. All I can tell you is this: we adore you. We thank you for with passion and commitment and understanding of life. Thank you for being who you are and continue to live. I got to tell you, I'm very emotional right now because we've been fighting right now. It's really going up quickly. They're starting to beat up the people on the streets. A police officer just drove in Brooklyn his SUV through the crowd. He drove through the crowd. A police officer. I'm saying, what is going on? What is happening? And it's going to become very difficult. So I say to you, on this, the happiest occasion of the day that you were born 90 years ago, I thank your mother, your father. I thank your family, and especially your children, because they sacrifice the most. I say to all of you, my love to you from the bottom of my heart. Dolores, eres una reina de esperanza para nosotros.
Thank you, Eddie. And I want to thank you for always been there. I remember after the riots in Los Angeles when you came out there with a broom and you said to everybody, we've got to clean up the city. And you were the only actor that I remember that came out there right in the middle of everything that was going on and said, we've got to clean it up. And, you know, Eddie, one of the ways that we can really, counter everything that you talked about is through organizing. That's what the Dolores Huerta Foundation is all about. It's about grassroots organizing from the bottom up, because we know what people are organized. Like when we had our martyr Najib Taifala, a Muslim that was killed in the strike, everybody fasted. We had candlelight vigils. And so when we organize people, then we can counter this violence in an organized way that doesn't really hurt other innocent people. And just, I want to thank you for always being the role model, as Cristela just mentioned, but for all of our young people, you're in the zoot and being, out there on Galexica, when you were out there, you have always been there, stand up and deliver, but be the model for what our Latino community can do. And you touch so many lives and so many people. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank you for joining me today on my 90th birthday celebration. Eddie, we love you very much. Gracias. And, just stand there with us. Like you didn't stand up and deliver, keep standing there with our community, because we need you and we love you. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Por vida. May God bless you with another 30, 40 years, my darling. I love you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Dolores. Happy birthday. My inspiration, my advisor, my mentor, our leader. You are so extraordinary, and I just thank you for all you have been to me as a friend, as a mentor, as a supporter, and happy birthday, Dolores. You just epitomize what it means to have integrity, to keep up the fight, to never tire. You are always lifting people up, which is why we know that you are always one of the great strengths in terms of our fight for civil rights, our fight for farm workers, our fight for women, our fight for equality, our fight for democracy. So happy birthday, dearest Dolores. Happy birthday.
Dolores, feliz cumple. I'm trying to recall the first time we met, and I'm pretty sure it was when we all attended Cesar's funeral. You know, you have been a beacon of hope for our community, and you've always come out to support our films, our TV shows, theater, anything that had to do with Latinos in the arts. You were there, and you have given us cred by being there. I remember you being at the Clinton White House for a screening of Mi Familia, and the countless times that you attended the National Hispanic Foundation for the Arts Gala in DC. We love you, te adoramos. You are a pillar of our community. Que viva Dolores hoy y para siempre. Con mucho cariño. Te deseo feliz cumpleaños. Happy birthday, Dolores.
Dolores, it's your birthday, I hear, and a major one, a big one. Welcome to the 90s. I want to wish you the best year you've ever had. And I want to tell you, you are a genuine hero of mine, one of the great people of the Western world. I love you. I hope to see more of you in the course of the next years. And happy birthday, my dear.
Happy birthday, Dolores. This is Linda Ronstadt. You are my favorite woman. You are an inspiration to both me and my daughter. I hope you spend the whole night dancing.
Hi, happy birthday, Dolores Huerta. You are one of my favorite human beings. I want to thank you for everything that you've done for us. I also want to send just my deep condolences for everybody right now around the killing of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. We're living in such a challenging moment. And Dolores, your work has always been the work that I've looked to, the life you've lived that has inspired me. I'm so grateful that I get to honor you on your birthday. Thank you.
And I'd like to take a moment to recognize Patrice at the end of that video. She is actually the founder of the Black Lives Matter movement, and we're very honored and we're very privileged that she was able to send a message and help celebrate Dolores' 90th birthday. Black Lives Matter, thank you so much for everything that you've done to make everybody aware. The fight is not over, it continues, and we're right there with you. So this is the part where I have to tell you, just as a reminder, if you were joined us, if you've been with us, the moment that Edward James Olmos had was really emotional and very important. It's a good reminder that the Dolores Huerta Foundation is a grassroots movement. For me, that's the kind of movement I personally like. Grassroots means that we're at the base, we're at the foundation, and the roots grow up and we grow the movement from the roots. And our next guest is actually time for a musical, a performance. They themselves came out of a grassroots movement. They are a group that every time I hear them, I actually opened for them years ago at one of their concerts, which I still was so excited about. Their music is jovial, it makes you feel, it's got energy. Please help me in welcoming Ozo Motley.
Yeah. Ha. It's you they card, it's you they charge, it's you they complain about strolling the boulevard. You the one claiming and screaming you're all hard. Are you in control or is it just a facade? If Sam wants you, it's you that he'll need. It's you that he'll sacrifice and it's you that he'll bleed. I think you need to reflect on some old Sam's need and recognize in life there's only two guarantees. Some proceed to believe in us. We gotta discuss, have we all lost trust in us? Cause you and I, we, us, together we must live, change and die. Everybody's included, it's up to you to decide.
Dos cosas ciertas son la muerte.
I love that energy. It just makes me want to dance. Ozo Motley, thank you for that wonderful performance. Our next guest coming up, one thing I can say about her is that for years she has shown us that her favorite hobby is getting arrested. Please welcome Jane Fonda.
Am I on? Am I?
Yes, yes, you are on.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can, Jane.
I'm so honored to be part of the incredible people who are coming to wish you happy 90th birthday. It's hard to believe that you're 90 years old. I'm so proud to be your friend. You have taught me, as you've taught so many other women, to stand up for what you believe, to be brave, and to put yourself on the line. You've been a real
a friend of yours, Jane, and I want to thank you for being such a great role model for me, and especially for my children, because when you had all of my kids going up to the camp, your wonderful camp that you had for the poor children of poor people and the children of celebrities, and that was such a great, was so wonderful for all of them because they learned so much.
You negotiated the contract.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
There is a contract you can't negotiate, Dolores. I think we had a little technical issue with Jane Fonda. So Dolores, while I have you here for a moment, can you describe to me, like, Jane Fonda is actually one of the earlier supporters of the Dolores Huerta Foundation, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, she was also a big supporter of the United Farm Workers. And I remember once when we were negotiating with this big lettuce company, which was owned by Chiquita Banana, the banana people. And so Jane and then Tom Hayden, we had a big rally. And then Jane said, well, we're going to go across country and just tell people to boycott Chiquita Banana. Guess what? 2 days later, the company signed. So Jane didn't even have to make that tour. Just by her saying the word out there, that made it happen. And, she's always been so brave and such a pioneer and always taking on the tough issues, going against the war in Vietnam before anybody ever did that. And her bravery and, she's always used her celebrity to fight for causes. And also, by the way, she fought so that we would not have any nuclear plants here in the state of California. Because of her work, we only ended up with 2, but had it not been for her, there would have been maybe dozens, and our state would have been in such great danger. And history will really write one of our big heroines of our country, of our world, and that is Jane Fonda. And she continues, of course. Hey, Jane, thank you for coming back, okay? I'm bragging about you and all the great work that you've done.
Can you hear me? Is it okay? That is the technical stuff working? Okay. It meant so much to me, Dolores, that you came to DC to participate in a fire drill Friday on December 20th, and you rallied the crowd the way only you can do, and then you engaged in civil disobedience and got yourself arrested right along with a couple of hundred other people. It meant so much to me, because for so long, things operated in silos. There was the women's movement, the labor movement. There was, in the environmentalists. But now's the time, and you helped make it happen. When leaders of all the movements came together that day, there was William Barber, Reverend William Barber was there from Moral Mondays, the Poor People's Campaign, and Gloria Steinem was there, and Ai-jen Poo, and you. All these leaders of movements were together calling attention to the climate crisis. And it was a real turning point, and I'm so grateful to you.
Can I ask a question to Jane Fonda, just because I want the people that are watching this video right now can you expand a little bit on the Fire Drill Friday so that they can get some information on what it is and how they can help with the effort?
Yeah, well, if you want to get involved, text Jane, that would be me, to 877-877, Jane, to 877-877. We have an event every Friday. Now we're doing it virtually, of course, just like we're doing this birthday virtually. And we are focusing on the climate crisis and what people can do and why it's important. And it started off in DC, and we didn't know if it was going to gain traction, but it did. 16 people were arrested the first Friday and over 300 the last Friday, and it got international attention. And I think, well, you know this, I'm only 8 years behind you, but people sort of think, well, God, if that old broad can do it, I can do it, right? And you're just still out there showing us there's no stopping you.
Yeah,
Dolores?
and there's no stopping you, Jane. There's no stopping you either.
How long do you guys how long have you known each other? What was it?
Since the 1970s.
Wow. So I mean, because really I was
50 years. Oh my God, you were 40 years old when I first met you. Wow.
You know,
50 years.
When we were having technical issues, we were talking about how you were one of the earlier supporters of the Dolores Huerta Foundation, and it's incredible that here we're celebrating her 90th birthday and we're trying to fundraise for the Dolores Huerta Foundation. What was it about the foundation and Dolores that made you want to become a supporter right from the get-go?
Right. Well, first of all, Dolores knows how to organize. She's an organizer par excellence. And she knows to go to the people and listening to the people. And then she finds out what people really need. And then she knows how to organize them. She knows how to convince them there's strength in numbers. And she builds their confidence. And she organizes them for social change. So I knew that whatever she put her name to was going to be important. And, in the area where Dolores and Camille and her children live and do their activism, there's not a lot of people trying to help those local people. It's a really tough area. We're talking about, in general, the San Joaquin Valley. It's where most of the food is produced, but people are poor, they're mistreated, they're poisoned, they're sprayed. Women are, it's very hard conditions there. In Bakersfield, the only hospital that served Bakersfield closed. So there isn't even a hospital nearby. And Dolores and her daughter, Camille, who runs the foundation, they really try to help people where the need is. Like right now, this fundraiser is to help the people there deal with the COVID crisis. And because they live where they do and breathe the kind of polluted air they breathe and the lack of health care, it's more of a crisis than it is in places where people are rich. And this kind of inequality, we have to end it. And that's what Dolores has been about her whole life. And so if,
and Dolores,
of course, I stepped up to support
it. And Dolores, what do you think? What do you think is both of you actually are so good at actually doing the outreach to the community, to the actual people, to bringing them into the issues and make them involved. Dolores, what are some of the things you've learned from working alongside Jane Fonda for so many years?
Oh my God, well, no, she doesn't learn anything from me. No, I'm my teacher.
I'm glad what Jane said, because not many people really understand the elements of grassroots organizing. I was very fortunate to learn that from Fred Ross Sr., who's no longer with us. But it's really simple when you put your faith in the people. And Jane, you have always done that. You use your celebrity to really get out there and help. And I do want to say a fun fact about Jane Fonda, besides her arrest, okay? But that she actually... And when we were over there in North Dakota at Standing Rock, she paid for the Thanksgiving dinner. She bought turkeys for thousands of people that were there at Standing Rock so that they could have a Thanksgiving dinner. Your generosity and your caring, your empathy, you are there, and it's like you stand there with everybody and the marches, and that we were able to protest at some of the banks out there that were funding this oil pipeline. And so, Jane, you know how to go directly to the source of the problem, like you're doing with the Fire Drill Fridays. And that's what we appreciate about you, because you are such an incredible leader in everything that you do. And I know we're going to have many more arrests in the future.
I hope so.
Looking forward to that.
We plead, we petition, we write articles, we march, and they don't pay attention. And so the next thing you have to do is engage in civil disobedience. But just to correct something, it's our mutual friend Jody Evans who did the Thanksgiving dinner. I helped serve it, but what I brought, which I thought was more useful, 22 yurts, because it was so frigging cold. So I sent 22 yurts and about 1,200 pounds of bison meat. Because, you know, I was married to the Bison King. So I know the importance of bison.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
All right.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Martin Sheen come along? Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I stay on or?
No, we're actually. Yes, we're good. We're good. Technical difficulty.
Dolores, I love you. I admire you. I respect you. May you have
peace. Dolores, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Dolores, you know how much I love you. We love you. So I'm celebrating you and just saying you are a wonderful soul, wonderful woman, a wonderful human being on this planet. You inspire me. You've inspired so many of us. Your work means so much. But we just want to celebrate you and want you to have fun today. Happy birthday. God bless you. You and your loved ones. I love your fam. And more than anything, they represent you and how great a person you are. So thank you. Happy birthday, Dolores, and enjoy your day, all right? Happy born day. Love.
Dolores Huerta, it's an honor to be here, to be able to say Feliz cumpleaños 90. Oh my God, that is so awesome. And thank you so much for everything you've done for the humanity, you know. Gracias por todo lo que has hecho por los latinos, por las latinas, por las actrices, you know. Espero que estés muy bien, Dolores, que esta cuarentena te haya traído por lo menos lindos pensamientos como siempre los tienes, estoy segura que sí. Y como sé que te gusta el tequila, y pues a mí también, nada más un poquito, pues quiero decirte y brindar contigo. Feliz cumpleaños. Thank you so much. Have a great end of quarantine. Besos. Amo el tequila. Mwah.
Dolores Huerta, happy birthday. It's Ed Begley. And the problem today is the same as it was back in the 60s. There are too many weather vanes and not enough compasses. By that I mean people who are pointing always magnetic north towards justice, towards equality, gender equality, fairness for people working in the fields and elsewhere. You've been unbelievable. You've been a guiding light for me for so long. I love you and respect you. You are the inspiration for me in so many ways. I marched with you to Sacramento. I worked with you in many other campaigns. Environmental justice, you've been a beacon in that important area too. You're loved and admired by all. You are our compass, pointing magnetic north towards justice now since the 60s when I first became aware of you. I love you, I cherish you. Happy birthday, Dolores. This is Ed Begley.
Happy birthday to you, Dolores, a great warrior woman who I had the privilege to work with on so many issues for justice and freedom. I am reminded of your work for Jesse Jackson for president, for farm workers' dignity, for women's reproductive rights, for worker rights, for our young people, for people of color, and for your bold and tireless work to make America a country that lives up to its creed of liberty and justice for all. Your 90th birthday deserves celebrating by supporting all of your continuing efforts to make this world a better place. You have inspired and taught me throughout the years that sí se puede.
Dolores, we send you our love and our admiration. Your sister board members of the Feminist Majority are so grateful for your feminist leadership, for your always positive attitude that we can do it, sí se puede. But most important, for your tireless, hard work for the Equal Rights Amendment, for electing women to office, for reproductive justice, for all the social justice, all the spirit that you provide for us. Happy birthday, but most importantly, we will send the message that we're going to vote, and we're going to vote in favor and in honor of you and in honor of the values that we cherish. We will turn this country around.
Hi, I love your t-shirt.
Thank you.
Oh, look at that. Hi, my name's Christella, and I'm hosting the online birthday celebration with Dolores. And I really appreciate that you can help me out with getting some questions set up and stuff. Yes. But before we get to that, real quick, I want to know, so I hear you have these idols. So tell me a little bit about that.
In 4th grade, we had, which makes me look a long time, but I'm in 6th grade. In 4th grade, we had like National Women's History Month, and then we had to do a project for that. So I was choosing who I was gonna do, and then I found a book on Dolores Huerta in an article, and ever since then it's been like, it's just, she's so amazing. Because for me, I'm Latina, so like we never really heard of like Latina change makers.
Do you have any other idols?
Gloria Steinem too. And like coincidentally, but still, they're both my I would say this anyway.
It's funny because you seem to have really good taste in role models. I understand that you had some questions that you wrote up. Why don't we ask both Dolores and Gloria, who are here joining us right now, so that you can virtually meet with them. Hi, Francesca.
Hi, Francesca. Oh,
Hi.
I'm so glad to see you.
I was so surprised.
Look, it's not even your birthday.
But it's wonderful to see you because, you know, you are our future, right? So we just had to wait for some of our friends to be born. So we're really glad to see you.
Francesca, what was your first question?
You both were very part of vital moments in our country's history. What is the most important thing you think is left for my generation to accomplish?
Okay, well, Francesca, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. And I just have to say, Gloria just said that you are definitely the future, but I have to say that you're also the present, because of so many young people are doing so many great things, you know, going out there and campaigning against gun violence. You're talking about climate change and why we have to save Mother Earth. But you know, the most important thing is to know that you all have the energy and you have the knowledge and you have all of the tools at your disposal that we need to save our planet and to save our society.
Well, you know, I think we get a case of the shoulds, if you know what I mean. So I wouldn't worry so much about what you should do, but follow your heart, your instinct when you see what isn't fair. And because you're a female human being, you will especially see things that aren't fair for the female half of the world. Act on it. A revolution is like a tree. It doesn't grow from the top down. It grows from the bottom up. So trust that instinct.
This one's for Gloria. One of my favorite quotes of yours is, "We've begun to raise our daughters more like our sons, but few have the courage to raise our sons more like our daughters." What are some of the characteristics that women possess that you think young boys should be taught as well?
I think that we are taught what we need to raise children: empathy, patience, attention to detail. And boys have that within them too, but sometimes they are not encouraged to develop those qualities. So I think if we raise our sons more like our daughters, that means, you know, that will help boys to develop all those qualities that are wrongly called feminine, but they're human, and get rid of gender and race and class and all that stuff, the better off we are.
I think that all of our young men, they need to know how to cook, know how to clean, and they have to learn how to dance, okay?
This one's for Dolores. As a Latina girl growing up, what did it feel like to have everyone paying attention to not your character, but the color of your skin? How did it motivate you to fight for a change?
I think that's one of the things that did motivate me to fight for change, because of the discrimination that I faced because of the color of my skin and the color of the skins of my friends. And the sad thing is, because, you know, as women, we get discriminated twice. And I think one of the things that we have to teach our young men also is that women, hey, we are human beings. We are not sex objects. So let's get rid of that, okay? We are not sex objects. And guess what? We are equal to men.
I love that.
I just want to say happy birthday, Dolores. And thank you so much for this amazing opportunity and for telling me these words of wisdom that will change me forever, and that I will try to spread them and tell everyone. And thank you so much. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you for joining my birthday celebration, and I wish you all the best of the world. And when this is over, hopefully we can meet in person, okay?
And Dolores, dearest Dolores, I wish I could hug you. I just want to say happy birthday. I'm so grateful to have you as an age peer. It means everything to me. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Gloria, for being there forever, supporting farm workers in our time of need. When we were organizing the Great Boycott way back then, and you were such a champion for us and taking the message throughout the country, as you have taken the message of support for supporting women throughout the world.
Thank you so much, Francesca, for being part of this event. Thank you, Gloria. And it really means a lot. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
That was awesome. Francesca didn't know that they were the icons that she looks up to were available, which is always great. What a great talk. Thank you so much for that. And right now we have a guest. It's such a weird way to introduce her because you can kind of say, is Dolores Huerta too. She played her in the movie Cesar Chavez. Please help me in welcoming Rosario Dawson. Rosario.
Hello. I have Mom also here to say hello and happy birthday to you. We love you so much.
Hola, mujer preciosa. Felicidades. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, Rosario. Thank you for joining us today. You know, this party wouldn't have been a good party without you. So thank you for taking out the time to be here with us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I had to be here and celebrate you.
Rosario, here's a question. Hey, here's a question. You actually
go ahead.
No, you played Dolores in the movie Cesar Chavez. What kind of research did you have to do? What did you learn about playing Dolores in the movie that maybe you didn't know about, or it was more solidified for you?
I got to watch lots of interviews and watch and read lots of books. I got to speak to Dolores. I had met Dolores before. What I just got to see was a woman with conviction. When I remember watching a documentary about Jane Fonda in her early 20s, and to see someone at different stages of their life, like that's what I got the benefit of seeing someone with conviction, still not knowing what was to come. I had the benefit of seeing the history and knowing that she was on the right side of history, but so much of that was a mystery to all of those people participating. They had no idea the international impact that they were able to totally create by bringing community with people who were condemned, it seemed, to be powerless. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I got. That's what, as I'm looking at the news right now, that's what I keep getting so caught up in is when you get to look at history and you get to see people making these individual choices in their life, not knowing where it's going, but knowing that they're moving and motivated through empathy and compassion and humanity, and that therefore they're on the right side. And that's what I got, was just seeing, when we were in it, you kind of get so caught up in the movie making and it's so dramatic, but it's like, it's not drama. It's not spectacle. It's profound reality, and it's history that we could learn from and necessary. It's the foundation of where we are right now.
Hey, Dolores, Rosario, we're very lucky to actually have Rosario so active in the political world and also especially in social issues. What can I say? Look, we're celebrating your 90th birthday. What kind of advice could you give to Rosario Dawson to look forward towards in the future?
Well, I don't think it's so much of advice, because I think Rosario has done so much, we know, in the justice movement. But I know that we're going to be getting together, Rosario. We're going to be working really hard, because we've got to get everybody to make sure that they all vote. And so we're gonna have to do a lot of work on that, because if we don't do that, we know things are not going to get any better. And I know that you've been in the forefront with Latino Vote out there to make this happen. And so I know we're going to join forces as we have in the past, and we're going to go forward to make sure we get every single person out there that they could, get them to vote. And I know if we can do that, hopefully we're going to turn the corner. We're going to see a better world that's out there. But we know that we have to make it happen. And so you and I together, Rosario, we're going to make it happen. Sí se puede.
Absolutely. Sí se puede. I have my mom and she's hovering, and we're talking about like all the things that I learned. It's all of the widespread issues that you covered throughout your entire life, and being on the forefront of not talking just about farm workers' rights, women's rights, and the right to vote. We just finished doing something we were just collaborating on, not just which we have in the past as well with voter registration and GOTV, but also the census right now, because right now that is the moment that we're in right now, and we will only have this moment for the next 10 years. Of the funding that we could have in our communities. And as we're seeing, so many of our communities are being destroyed right now as people are using it as pawns to try to distract us from what the real issues at cause are, because we are on the precipice of real structural change. And if there can be any silver lining from COVID-19, is that this is the moment to seize a real transformation. And having someone like you, Dolores, at 90, who's still with us to share this wisdom, to hear people saying like COVID is something that we can just sacrifice people to. And and you're seeing it, especially as we were talking about Standing Rock earlier, how tremendous of value of heritage and language and history that our elders are in the Native community, and to see that how much they're being devastated, and you bring so much attention to all of that. So we need to be filling out our census forms. We need to be voting right now. If this moment shows anything, and the history and the things that you have done over all of these years have shown anything, is that we have to stay vigilant, we have to stay urgent, and we have to stay in community and communication with each other. So that we can create this new future. And I'm thankful for your leadership. And you're saying with advice, I'm like, please, that mentorship and that advice is so necessary. Everything I've done in collaboration with people. It's the reason why it's been effective at all, is because it's been in community. And I have my mom here. She's still hovering, but it cracks me up every single time we talk about Voto Latino, and it wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for her. And I think about your 11 children that you had in the midst of the movement, and how all of them have grown to be such tremendous people in this, and the community that you've created, and how much you've just blessed us in so many different ways. Grandkids. Generations of you. Thank you.
And I want to thank you and your mother for all of the work that you're doing to make life better for young girls in other countries. I know that you do an awful lot of work to make sure young women in other countries have a chance to be able to go to school, and you're supporting them not only morally, but also financially. And yes, Rosario, I want you to come back someday like you did to our golf tournament. You were so awesome, and you were dancing with every single person, and you were such an awesome dancer.
Are you still driving? Are you going to drive me around? You can still drive. You can still drive the golf cart. I'm down.
She'll drive it for you. I know that. She'll drive it for you for sure. Rosario, here's the thing though, is that I want to tell you, look, you're an actress, you're an activist, and I want to tell you that Dolores is an activist and now an actress. So I want to show you a quick clip that it's her movie premiere. And it's from a film called Eat the Rainbow. And I want you to look at it from the artist side of you, from the actress side. Watch the short clip, and maybe you can give Dolores a couple of acting tips right after. How about that? Let's check out Eat the Rainbow.
You are celebrating a false victory. You did not find a solution. You ran away. Go back. Put a stake in the ground. Finish your fight.
I think he's right.
He's a wise man. Just because I have hair on my face does not mean that I identify as a male, wisdom certainly does not always come from men. Now, go. Handle your business.
Thank you.
Thank you. Si se puede.
Sesame pudding?
Go. Just go. Go.
Brava! Si se
Okay,
puede.
Daria, I mean,
Great.
look, she is clay. We can work with her. We can mold her. From seeing that clip, do you have any acting tips you can share with Dolores?
That was amazing. That one of the things that I love with Dolores is just how funny she is.
Yeah.
And so you can see it because that's all about timing, so often, and just the energy, she really connects. She's very, I'm talking about you like, Dolores, you're so, I'm like, because I keep seeing it in the little screen. So I feel like I'm talking about a show. But Dolores, like, you're so funny and you're so present. And that's what's so necessary with acting. The first female director, she made our first narrative film, Alice Guy Blaché. She made her first picture in the late 1890s. She started her own film studio when she moved from France to America. And she had this big sign in her place that said, "Be natural." And that was what she did in these first pictures. They were the first talkies, and she was really, she's unheard of in history. She's unfortunately, so often we see so many women written out, but we've always been there and doing incredible things. And like, I love that, as people talk, like, now with independent film, we're getting more natural. And it's like, no, that's always been the case, that women call to that. And I think you just had that natural innate ability, Dolores. It's like my acting coach says, it's like you catching a ball, you catch it and you toss it. So you got to listen. I hear what you have to say to me, but this is what I need you to hear. And you catch the ball and you throw it back and forth. And you can always tell when someone's not really engaged in the scene and not really seated in it, not really believing it, not listening, and not really communicating, because it doesn't land. And Dolores, you do that on screen when you're playing with a fake beard as a sage, and I want to climb the mountain to listen to you and kneel and hear your wisdom, or when you're out there with the speaker screaming out, for workers' rights. It's so powerful how real you always come across, and you
just got a workshop
storytelling. It's such storytelling. You make that storytelling real for people. Thank you for that. Oh, so good.
Thank you, Rosario. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you out there on the campaign trail, okay? Getting out the vote. Thank you. Organizing.
Feliz cumpleaños. Happy birthday.
Gracias.
Thank you so much for being inspiration.
Hey, Dolores, it is me, D.L. Hughley, Dolores Huerta. You have been an icon and an activist in civil rights and rights for a long time. And originally, when they asked me to do it, they told me to harass you or to roast you. But I said, she's 90, I could say some shit and it could kill her. And besides, you're 90 years old, so whatever I say, you're not gonna remember anyway. So happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. One of them times you were sure to have got it. And whatever you do, please don't ever drive again. And if you insist on driving, at least do us the favor and move to Florida. Happy birthday, baby. Have many, many more. Well, that's all right. God bless. I love you. Take care.
Happy 90th birthday, Dolores. As an organizer, activist, and strategist, you've spent a lifetime helping to move our nation toward equality, justice, and fair opportunities for all.
Dolores, your leadership hasn't just raised the floor for wages and working conditions, it's raised the ceiling of American humanity. It has lit the fires under our conscience time and again, and it's inspired millions of people across generations to recognize their own worth and their own power.
Before there was yes, we can, there was sí, se puede. It wasn't just a call to action, but a call to faith, empowering so many to believe in their own power, to find their courage, and to do what seemed impossible. Today, we need your message more than ever, because your fight and ours is far from over.
Dolores, it's truly an honor to stand with you, to learn from you, and fight alongside you, to help America deliver on its promise for all people, in every factory and field, in each community all across America. So thank you for exemplifying the soul of America, and thank you for making this a better country. Happy birthday, and may God bless you.
What an incredible person you are, Dolores. You are such an inspiration and have been an incredible friend to our family for years, for decades now. You were there way back when, in 1968, when my father came to Delano and joined you and Cesar Chavez after his 25-day fast and broke bread with him. What a moment that was. What a deep friendship my father had with Cesar Chavez and with you, Dolores, over those many years. You are so tireless as an organizer, as somebody who fights for social justice every step of the way, who looks out for others. I send you so much love and happy birthday greetings from me, from my whole family, from my mother, Ethel Kennedy, from all of us. We love you, we are inspired by you, and we wish you well.
Today I want to wish my dear friend and Shiro, Dolores Huerta, happy 90th birthday. In 2018, I carried legislation, AB 2644, to name April 10th as Dolores Huerta Day in the state of California. The bill was in recognition of her decades of activism for social, labor, and civil rights. Dolores has worked her entire life to improve social and economic conditions for farm workers and for so many others. She was and still is a leader in the fight against discrimination, a defender of civil rights, equal rights, and dignity for all. But we knew it was only appropriate that we give Dolores Huerta the proper recognition for her numerous sacrifices in the name of justice and the labor movement. Thus, my colleagues joined me in authoring AB 2644. And on July 18th, 2018, Governor Jerry Brown signed AB 2644 into law, declaring April 10th as Dolores Huerta Day, becoming the first state to do so.
Please join me. I'm here with the cast of Penny Dreadful, City of Angels. Academy Award nominee Adriana Barraza. She plays Maria Vega, the mother of the Vega family. Followed by Adam Rodriguez. He plays Raul Vega, the eldest of the children, and plays a labor movement leader. Daniel Sovato. He plays the main lead character of Tiago. Jonathan Nieves, he plays Mateo Vega, the youngest of the boys in the Vega family, and becomes a pachuco. Followed by Jessica Garza, she plays Josefina Vega, the youngest in the Vega family, who becomes an evangelist after an extremely traumatic series of events. Thank you so much for doing this. And actually, for those of you that haven't seen Penny Dreadful, City of Angels, by the way, shame on you if you haven't. The show is set in 1938, and so this is the tie to Dolores Huerta's online birthday celebration. She's turning 90, which means she was born in 1930.
Yes.
She was 8 years old when this show was taking place. 8 years, which is amazing. I keep telling everybody, I love how she refers to it as her sixth quinceañera, her 90th birthday. So we decided to do something that would be fun, silly, no pressure. We were thinking that because the show is set in 1938 and she was born in 1930, we would actually have her come on and ask you, the cast, some basic questions about Mexican American history. Welcome Dolores Huerta to join us so that she can partake in this and be the host. She's going to be our Latina Alex Trebek tonight.
Happy birthday. Happy sixth quince, and you know, we genuinely love you and respect you and appreciate you, and it's just a pleasure to be here with you today. You look beautiful, and I wish I could hug you and kiss you.
Well, take a rain check on that. Quiero agradecer. I want to thank all of you out there, the cast of Penny Dreadful, for doing this wonderful, wonderful show. I cannot believe the acting is so incredible and it's so educational. So I hope that everybody watches Penny Dreadful. It's got to be a must for everybody to watch it. I cannot thank you how honored I am that all of you have given this time to be able to share my birthday party with me. But guess what? I know that you all have studied the history of the time that you are filming back in 1938, and I have some questions. You know, I was born in 1930, so just about, when all of this was happening. So between 1929 and 1936, there were 2 million Mexicans that were repatriated. They call it the Mexican Repatriation Act. And why do you think that these folks were all sent back to Mexico? Is that, and this is the question, because they were not citizens, because they were unemployed, because they were gangsters or criminals, or because they were of Mexican descent?
All right, let's see. Let's wait.
This is I write everything.
Yeah.
B, obviously. Yeah.
D, correct.
Yes.
Well, everybody got that one right. And you know what? Actually, one of my aunts, Lucy Fernandez, and her husband Trini were deported, and they were both American citizens, being born in the United States of America. And about 60% of the people that were deported were actually U.S. citizens, but they deported them anyway. So the show takes place, your show takes place in 1938. In that year, the Congress passed a law called the Fair Labor Standards Act, and that followed another law called the National Labor Relations Act, which was passed in 1935. So these two acts that were passed became law, and they protected workers. So what kind of protection did that give to farm workers and domestic workers like maids?
What were the years again?
It was actually the National Labor Relations Law was passed in 1935. The Fair Labor Standards Act was passed in 1938, the year that Penny Dreadful takes place. So what kind of protections and benefits did these two laws bring to domestic workers and farm workers?
All right, so we got a couple answers coming up. Adam, as always, is usually one of the first ones, if not the first. He said none. Let's see, we got ninguno, we got a nada. We got 2 more answers that we're waiting on before we reveal the answer.
I watched the document.
Nothing?
I'm going with the pressure that everyone else is saying.
How did it?
That is, you were all correct, okay? Because there were 0 benefits, because when they passed that law, they left out the farm workers and they left out the domestic workers. And you know what the reason was?
They knew who they were.
Yeah, and they said it. They actually said it in a press conference. A guy from the Associated Farms or Farm Bureau, he said, we are leaving these people out because they're black and brown. And there was a very specific reason why they left us out. But guess what? With the farm worker movement, we were able to get farm workers covered in 1975. Then domestic workers were also covered under the great governor, Jerry Brown, okay?
That is fantastic.
Your work, and because of you.
And because of you.
Yeah, let's forget about that.
Thank you.
Only in California. So we have to continue to be making more great movies like Penny Dreadful so we can get this information out to everybody so people will know our history and the history of the suffering of the Mexican people, the Mexican Americans in our country. But we know Somos Fuertes, we're strong, and with great portrayals like the cast of all of you on Penny Dreadful, our stories will get out to people. So muchas gracias. I am so grateful to all of you.
Gracias a ti.
Gracias. Y sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede. Sí se puede.
Estamos allá afuera. Estamos en el front line, ayudando a mantener este país andando. Estamos lejos de los que amamos y que ansían que regresemos a casa. Estamos aquí. Estamos optimistas, estamos resistiendo, estamos esperanzados, estamos juntos. Esto es Estamos Unidos de América. Una nación unida donde la gente se ayude y que entiende que los que están allá afuera necesitan apoyo. No ganamos esto solos, lo ganamos juntos. P&G y Hispanic Star estamos contigo. ayudando a familias y a trabajadores esenciales, ayudando a los hispanos, ayudando a los Estados Unidos. Únete en hispanicstar.org.
Happy birthday, Dolores Huerta. Thank you for your continued dedication and for causing good trouble for social justice for those most overlooked. You've inspired generations and continue to inspire us to rise up and use our voice for social change wherever we go. And like you, we believe in systemic change is what's needed now with more urgency. That's why we at the Caper Center are closing gaps of access and leveraging the power of technology to create equitable opportunities for underrepresented communities of color. We are so excited to join in the celebration of you and your legacy, for fighting for communities that didn't have a voice, for building allyship for others, and for investing the development of leaders for lasting change. And so it's my honor and pleasure to wish you a feliz cumpleaños, Dolores. Muchas gracias.
Sí
se puede.
That was awesome. Quick shout out. Thanks again to presenting sponsor Procter & Gamble, who encourages everyone to go to hispanicstar.org and join the movement. Also, a special thanks to Comcast for their support of tonight's celebration and their commitment to closing the technological divide by offering 2 months of free internet through their Internet Essential programs. Click the link below if you have it in the description. And last but not least, big thanks to Caper Center, the Lowe's Foundation, and longtime friends of the Dolores Huerta Foundation, the Latino Community Foundation, for your generosity in making this event possible. And of course, I have to do another shout out because that's what I'm here to do. Please consider donating. The Friends of Dolores Huerta Foundation, please consider donating to the foundation to continue its work, giving back to the community. You can have, there's information in the comments section on whatever platform you're using, or you can do it here, right there. There's the information to donate. So thank you so much for all the sponsors. Thank you for everybody that's been watching. Coming up next, we have a fantastic performance that is actually bringing you life to a classic. So this event has been sprinkled with interviews with some of Dolores' friends, and now we have another musical break coming up. Our musical guest is Flor de Toloacho, and here they are. Let's check out the performance.
Estas son las mañanitas que cantaba el rey David, y a las mujeres fuertes y bonitas te las cantamos a ti. Está la mañana en que vengo a saludarte. Venimos todos con gusto y placer a felicitarte. El día en que tú naciste, nacieron todas las flores. Del bautismo cantaron los ruiseñores. Ya viene amaneciendo, ya la luz del día nos dio. Levántate de mañana, mira que ya amaneció. All right, everybody, we want to hear you sing nice and loud. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. De las estrellas del cielo quisiera bajarte dos. Volaron 4 palomas por toditas las ciudades.
Happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday, Nanadi.
Happy birthday, Dolores.
Hoy por ser día de tu santo, te deseamos felicidades. Con jazmines y flores este día voy a adornar. Hoy por ser día de Dolores, te venimos a cantar. Oh, Te venimos a cantar.
Sí se puede, sí se puede.
Te venimos a cantar. Mira que todos somos uno. Te venimos a cantar.
We are one human race.
Te venimos a cantar. Te venimos a cantar. Te venimos a cantar. Dolores, Dolores, muchas felicidades. Te venimos a cantar.
Happy birthday, Grandma G.
What a
Oh,
wonderful
what a-
way to end.
Oh my, that performance. I love it. We have to make sure that we can make that song available after this because there's a lot of people that need to listen to that song. What a great way to just leave on a good note. You know, that was amazing. Once again, that was Flor de Toloache that did this wonderful cover of such a classic, Las Mañanitas. We have actually reached the end of the program, guys. And I want to say before I do my closing remarks, I want to announce to everybody that might be watching here, we do have some breaking news. If you are in the Los Angeles area, in Los Angeles County, please understand that they have issued a citywide curfew for tonight that actually begins at 8 p.m. So that would be 20 minutes from now. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was notified, had the information, because I know they sent it to everybody's phone, but sometimes we miss that, and I want to make sure that everybody knows. So curfew, we can't be out past 8 o'clock. So hopefully the news gathers. Please make sure that your loved ones know, text, call, just make sure that everybody's informed. This leads to a time where so many of us are in the middle of a very confusing era. We have the protests happening along with the global pandemic of a virus that we don't know how is going to affect everybody. One thing that is for sure is that the Latino community, the farm worker community, they're being affected. And the Dolores Huerta Foundation is here trying to raise money for the foundation. So one more time, I ask of you, if you can spare a couple bucks, please consider donating it to the foundation to maintain the work of the foundation and to give back. We're trying to raise efforts for COVID-19 for those affected by it the most. One of the essential workers that some of these people work out in the fields and don't have the PPE that everybody talks about. We need to make sure that they're taken care of. We need to make sure that they are indeed not only essential, but honored for the heroes that they are. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the program. Dolores, I just want to say that it is one of the biggest honors of my life to have you as a friend. I was so flattered and so honored when you asked me to host this birthday celebration for you. Thank you for letting me be a part of such a special day, such a special birthday. Your friendship, my connection to you. I promise you, my gift to you is to always keep your voice and your movement moving forward. Your friendship has changed me forever, and I thank you so much. So happy birthday, Dolores. Would you like to close out and say a couple words to everybody?
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Christella. You are such an inspiration, and thank you for hosting this wonderful, wonderful celebration for this awesome birthday party that I had. And to everybody that joined, everybody that's listening out there, we're very, very grateful for your support and for your participation. And we just have to remember that we are in difficult times, and say to everybody out there, yeah, let's believe in the philosophy of nonviolence and try to keep everybody safe out there. We have to stay strong, and we have to stay locked down for a little while longer. Let's do that also. Let's do everything that we can. And to keep our movement going forward, we're not going to give up. We're going to keep going forward, regardless of what may happen out there, because ultimately at the end, it's up to us to work together and not to give up. Yeah, keep looking forward, and I know we can all make this happen. So again, thanks to everybody who participated today on online, and all of the artists and everybody that helped us put this together. We are very, very grateful to all of you. Si se puede. Thank you very much, and we'll just take one more little celebratory drink to everyone out there. I salute all of you. Thank you very much for joining us today, and hope to see you at my next birthday party. We absolutely, and yes, and we will also give you all a gift when you come and participate and give us a little offering, and I want to thank everybody that made this happen. Muchas gracias. Si se puede, and let's not give up, and let's keep praying for everybody that needs our prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. To your 90th birthday, Dolores. Thank you so much for everything.